If you've ever asked a client for a video testimonial, you know how it goes. They say yes, absolutely, and then nothing happens. You follow up once, then twice, and now you're in that awkward spot where it feels like chasing. So instead of asking my clients to send me a testimonial, I actually started booking them on a 15-minute case study recording the moment they got a win. Today, I'll show you the easiest way to make a professional video testimonial, including part number 1, how to invite your clients to a 15-minute case study call, part number 2, how to record in 4K remotely, part number 3, how to help clients relax on camera, part number 4, how to edit and add captions quickly, and part number 5, the exact questions I asked to get great testimonial answers. As a bonus at the end, I'll also show you the exact camera, lights, and microphone I use to record high-quality testimonials. Let's get into it. Part number 1, invite clients to a 15-minute call. So why do customers take forever to send you a testimonial even if they're happy with your work? The short answer, you're adding yet another thing to their already busy to-do list. That's why I stopped asking clients to record testimonials on their own. And instead, I invite them on a quick 15-minute call with me where I ask a couple of questions, they answer those questions, and we have a whole testimonial captured in less than 24 hours. However, I do not recommend using Zoom, Google Meets, or Microsoft Teams for these recordings because you're gonna end up with very low quality footage with pretty terrible audio that you cannot fix. I have personally been using Riverside to record all my testimonials, and they are also the amazing sponsors of this video. You can click the link in the description to get a 30-day free trial and use code Vendy in the checkout. But first, let me show you exactly how I use it. Whenever my clients get an amazing result, I typically send them a message similar to this, where I'm asking, would you be opposed to hopping on a 15-minute call with me to capture your results? They say yes because it feels so easy to hop on a call and we get it scheduled for the next day. So what I now need to do is actually give them the link, the Riverside link to join the recording. So once you click the link in the description, this pro plan is the one I want you to select because it's all you need to capture really high quality testimonials. And again, you're gonna get a 30-day free trial with code Vendy. So go ahead, sign up right now, and I'm gonna show you what happens on the inside. Once you've signed up, you're gonna see a screen like this and click record. Now, by the way, we're not yet recording, though this is how we're gonna get the link you're looking for. So it's gonna launch in just a second. There's a very helpful reminder at the top that you should always be plugging in your computer when you are recording. And by the way, definitely use headphones when you are recording the actual testimonial. And then you're gonna go ahead and click join the studio, because the main thing I want you to see is that you have this invite link. We're gonna click here, and this is the link. So you can share this link and you can include it in the calendar invitation when you book in your case study recording with your clients. So I typically like to say, make sure you're using external microphone and you're wearing headphones. Make sure you have your camera ready. You're in a quiet and well-lit space. You have your computer plugged in and charging, and you've closed all other applications. And again, of course, I'm adding the Riverside link over here in the actual location. And I also like to add it in the description once more because, as you already know, everyone's busy and they typically see a reminder 5 minutes before, and I want to make sure they know exactly what is needed from them. This moves us into part number 2, record 4K testimonials remotely. The reason I always use Riverside to capture my video testimonials is number 1, you can record locally in 4K, and number 2, each participant gets a separate track. And if right now you have no idea what I'm talking about, I put together a very simple comparison table which shows the difference between a local recording like Riverside and cloud recording like Google Meets and Zoom. And the TLDR is that if you record in cloud, your quality of that testimonial will be dependent on Wi-Fi. So if there's a glitch and everything goes blurry, there's no way to save and make that file and video look good afterwards. Similarly, let's say you're recording a testimonial right now with your client, and your client says how they loved working with you, all the results, and suddenly you sneeze, or there's a doorbell and there's an Amazon delivery. The thing is, if you have a single track, you can't mute that doorbell because there's nothing you can do, so that part of recording got ruined. Whereas if you have multiple tracks like in Riverside, even if your client is explaining how great you are, you can mute your track. If you sneeze, if someone knocks on the door, you can mute your track and save that testimonial, which is so important. So without any further ado, let me show you exactly how I record testimonials using Riverside. All right, so I'm back inside the Riverside studio and you can see there is a guest waiting for us. Sarah is in the lobby. Do we want to let them in? And by the way, Sarah is me. I am joining from my phone. So I'm going to go ahead and click to accept this person in. And at this point, you're seeing way too many Vendys on screen. Though the main thing I want to highlight for you is that now on the right-hand side here, you can expand this to see exactly what is Sarah using to join this call, to join this testimonial recording. Front camera, built-in microphone, and default audio output. So you could remind Sarah at this point, hey, could you please use headphones? Could you please put on a different microphone? Now, by the way, I have muted my mobile because I want to avoid echo. That's what's happening over here. And can you see the recording here, the Sarah looks a little blurry. And that's the whole purpose of Riverside. Even if right now the other person that you're talking to looks blurry because we are doing this call, you know, in the online setting, the recording will be basically local. So it is going to be super high quality. And I just want to demonstrate this for you. I'm going to go ahead and click record. Okay. So we are recording right now. At the top, you can see we're 3 seconds in. So when you're having a conversation, I am asking Sarah a couple of questions about her experience working with me. By the way, if you don't want to see yourself, you're like, okay, I actually just want to expand my guest a little more. Here is what we can do. You can click over here to pin the person just so you see a bit more of them and how the frame is looking like. So the moment we're ready, we're gonna go ahead and stop that recording. And here is an important part. We must keep both devices open, mine and your guests, until it has finished uploading. Because again, the recording is locally stored on each device and then uploaded onto Riverside. The moment it's ready, we can go ahead and go to the project and say thank you to Sarah, and we get to go into the editing. And here is the beautiful part. We have separate tracks, one for Vendy, one for Sarah, and we get to download the video separately and the audio separately if we want to. And what I want to show you is that Sarah's recording is going to look amazing. So I just downloaded Sarah's recording on my device and I'm going to show you how clear the recording is. It will fully reflect the quality of the actual iPhone. And by the way, my phone is an oldie. I got it in 2018. I need to upgrade it soon. Though if I play it right now, can you see it is reflecting fully the front camera of my phone? The quality is wonderful and it is not ever going to be ruined even if the signal is not great during the recording. And before we start playing around with editing, I actually want to show you part number 3, how to make your clients relax on camera. Earlier in the video, I already showed you how I prepare my clients for this recording. I tell them in the description of the calendar invite to have their headphones ready, to be in a quiet space so they really know what to expect. And then on the day when they arrive in the waiting room and I let them in, before we start recording, I like to put them at ease by saying that if they mess up during the recording, not to worry, they can just pause and repeat that thing one more time because we're gonna edit out all the mess up. So if they need a glass of water, if they need to sneeze, that is not a problem. We're gonna make this recording look wonderful at the end. I also always mention that I will show them the final result before it goes live. So before I put it on the website, before I put it on LinkedIn, I'll share it with my clients to have their final sign off. And if they're happy, that's when it goes live. And one more thing I like to mention to my clients is that just in case during the recording process, it looks like I'm blurry or it looks like their video goes blurry, not to worry about it. Because again, we're recording locally, so the final result is going to be the highest quality depending on what audio and what camera they're using. Part number 4, how to edit and add captions quickly. What I'm about to show you is an actual case study I recorded with my client last month, and we're gonna tidy it up together and make it look super professional so that you see how easy it is to make really great video testimonials. So let's get into it. So last month I recorded this testimonial with my client Sergey, and I'm going to show you how quickly you can edit your own case studies so you can upload them on your website. We're going to go ahead and click edit over here, and in just a second you're going to see that here at the top we're going to have a whole transcript for everything you said during the case study recording, and at the bottom we have the timeline. Now, first thing, I immediately want to expand this timeline because it makes my life easier. I want to clearly see what is happening. You can see that the first track at the top is Sergey and mine is at the bottom. And you might notice the wavelength. So my audio is actually a bit louder than Sergey's, and that is something I want to fix immediately. And the way you do this is by simply going to tracks over here. We're going to click into Sergey over here, and I'm going to slightly increase the volume just a little bit. so that it roughly, basically on eye level, is matching the volume of my audio. So this is looking much better. Now, the next thing I want to do is actually delete the parts where I know I messed up in that recording, because again, I typically at the beginning of a recording say, you know, just in case we mess up, we'll edit that out. So if I click in the search bar, I'm gonna type in start again, because that's what I typically say. You can say that at 17 seconds, I'm saying, okay, let's start again. So at this point, I want to delete everything that came before congratulations. So you can do it both in text. So you select everything, click delete on your keyboard, and it basically grayed out the whole text and it grayed out the timeline over here. Or if you ever wanted to, I could basically click in my cursor here. I could click over here, split timeline. And again, I could basically select this and I click delete on my keyboard. Actually, rather than delete, I think I can just do this, delete. So I selected it like so, I selected it and click delete, but this part I actually want to bring back. So I'm clicking Command Z to bring it back. All right, beautiful. So what is going to be happening right now to ease up the whole editing process? I very much enjoy using the AI tools. So I'm gonna click over here, and there's a couple of things that I believe are incredibly helpful. So first of all, if you would like to, you can click here to remove all the pauses in your video. This is a personal preference. I oftentimes like to leave the pauses because it comes across more authentic, specifically for a testimonial, though if you click to apply, we can see what happens. So if I zoom in, you can see that all these pauses, like any extra pauses basically in the middle, get removed. And they're also very precise, which is very important. So you can see they got removed, beautiful. So that's done. What else can we do? Well, actually, you can try to find fluff in your own testimonial. So I would like to think there's not too much fluff in this one, though if I click to review, AI is suggesting that you see this part that I actually already deleted myself, that was fluff, that was repetitive, which is very accurate. I'm gonna say ignore because I already deleted that, so that was actually pretty helpful. Going back to AI tools, what else can we do? You can remove filler words if you want to, so like ums, etc. I oftentimes, when it comes to testimonials, I keep it quite authentic, though depending on what you're editing, you can go ahead and apply this and see how you like it. Now, smart mute. Remember when I mentioned earlier on, let's say Sergey is explaining something and I have a doorbell ringing, it is important that my track gets muted while Sergey is talking. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this, and what you are noticing right now is that while Sergey is talking here at the top, my track is muted unless I am saying something, right? So over here, if I said, you know what, I want it to just bring it back, you just drag it a little bit and it's going to be brought back. Or if I want to mute this, again, I drag that ever so slightly. So again, the editing, it becomes very, very easy with these tools. And my favorite thing is actually smart layouts. So to keep your testimonial interesting, so right now we are side by side like so, right? So I could basically drag myself to be here first, or Sergey could be on the left. That is your decision. Though if this is the whole recording and nothing changes, it's kind of a boring video to watch. So on AI tools, I like to use smart layouts. And if I click this, you're now going to see at the top of the track, so once it's implemented, if I go back to the beginning of our recording, it goes from me being direct to camera, then we go into side by side, still side by side, direct to camera, and again, Sergey's direct to camera. And if I at any point want to change this after I apply the smart layout, I'm like, you know what, in this specific scene, I want it to be side by side. So I can manually override it, though again, it is much easier, and I just want to make sure that you see how it looks like. So Vendy is talking, now we are again both on screen, talking. I feel like Vendy's talking too much, back to me. So what I also want to mention, you might notice that the video quality here is not very high, and that is purely so that the editing process would take less time. Rest assured that the moment you actually export your video is going to be the highest quality. If you record in 4K, it is going to be in 4K. So let's just go back to AI tools and show you a couple of other fun things. If you want, you can play around with eye contact. So basically it is going to fix the glaze so that you're not looking at a screen but in the camera. I will say I still feel a little weird because like I feel like it doesn't fully look like me when it's automatically trying to fix the gaze. But if you want, play around with this. It looks, you see, when I did that and I looked at Sergey, he looked natural. But I think when I was looking at myself, I'm like, that's not me, because I'm so familiar with my own face. So go ahead and take a look at this, and you're going to be able to select. Maybe let's just do this together. Let me just apply. And if I expand this like so, I get to select, you know what, I don't want to fix my gaze, but maybe I fix Sergey's gaze. So if you are wondering how does this look like, let's see if you notice, okay? So, I mean, you can notice it's slightly, if Sergey is looking a bit more like an AI person right now. So personally, I'm like, I don't know, I'm not quite ready for that just yet. So I can go back in here and be like, no, let's fix the gaze to be natural. Though that is an option. So by now, what we want to do is actually add subtitles to your video. So a couple of things, you can go here under captions and you can select the ones that you like, or to make your life easier for future testimonials, you get to go to brand, okay? And you get to select what is your default caption. So for horizontal testimonials, I could delete this one and say, you know, the default one that I very much like, let's say, is this. So now, if I go back to the captions, you're gonna see that my brand caption, the one I always use, is at the top like so. So I can add it, and if I wanted to change anything, I could be like, you know what, maybe I want the black background, even though I actually think white looks better, and I can change the font. If I wanted to let's just say B, Inter is always a good font. I will say that for me, I think this is way too much text. So I will go with single line, definitely recommend that. And large, let's try extra large. So this is definitely looking better. So again, if I play, we don't ever want to overwhelm people with our text. And when we add captions, we do want to scan through on the left-hand side all of this to make sure that everything is looking as you like. So for example, the 80K US dollars in new revenue. I could click to correct this and be like, you know what, I might prefer to say, actually to spell it out like so. And rather than just correcting it here, I can correct this everywhere. So if we go back to that part, I think it's somewhere here in the video. So now you see how it looks like in the captions. Congratulations on, actually it's almost, the USD is not there. So I might even delete the USD to be fair. Correct. I think this looks better. Congratulations on collecting 80K in new revenue in the last 12 months. Beautiful. From LinkedIn. So I used to teach LinkedIn, now I teach YouTube. So this is how it looks like. And just in case you want more ideas of how to improve your testimonial, you could go to Co-Creator, which is basically the AI within Riverside. And we could ask for suggestions, like what can we do? Let's just say improve sound. So I'm gonna say that, and it's going to think about what are our options. We already did quite a few. And as you can see, it's saying I've started enhancing the audio quality for your clip, and it's asking, do you want me to add captions or remove filler words? Now, we already did this, right? So all these AI tools you can do manually, or you can use Co-Creator, and basically it's going to help you guide through this. I do think that at this point, our testimonial is looking wonderful. So the moment you are ready, you want to go ahead and click to export it. And again, what do we want? I want 4K quality. That is the whole point. Yes, I want to remove the watermark, and you can go ahead and click to export the video. Your final video is going to live under the exports over here, and it's just going to take a couple of minutes to process in 4K so that you could actually start using it. So our final export is now ready. This is going to be the 4K highest resolution, depending on what camera you were using. This is looking wonderful, and you can either, again, download this on your device, you can go ahead and share it, and you could upload it straight to YouTube if you wanted to. And just to demonstrate the resolution, I have just downloaded the file on my computer, and if I play this, you can see again that the quality is exceptional. I was using a 4K webcam for this recording, and again, Sergey, I believe, was using 180p webcam, though again, this is super clear. And the beautiful part is that everything was recorded locally, and there are no Wi-Fi glitches or audio issues that cannot be resolved. Part number 5, the exact questions I asked to get great answers in testimonials. For the longest time, I have actually been using Hormozi's Epiphany bridge framework when running a testimonial call. And if you go to Google and type in ACQ internal SOP, the first result at the top you're going to see is Hormozi's framework on how to get an awesome testimonial. I will add a direct link to this PDF right below the video. And right now, let me share my screen with you and show you the exact questions I'm personally asking using this framework. I will start all testimonial calls by asking the person's name and what does their business do. And then you're gonna notice that there are three main parts that you wanna have in your testimonial. You wanna have the before part, which is basically what was your customer's life, business, or situation before they met you. Then you have the bridge, meaning how did they find you, what got their attention and why, and then after stage, meaning what happened after they met you, what are the results. So let's just go through these together. First of all, you have two things you want to focus on. So in the before stage, you have their external situation and their internal situation. So external is basically everything you can observe. And these are a couple of questions I would be personally asking. So for example, how are you getting customers before joining the bootcamp? How many leads were reaching out to you regularly? What was your main marketing strategy? I could also be asking, did you already have a YouTube channel? And if so, how consistently were you uploading videos? Did your video show up in the search results? And how many views were your videos getting? So all of these are observable metrics, so you can externally observe and really report on these metrics. And it is important that you really establish their before state, because that's what your future customers, the ones considering working with you, can most relate to, because they have the same pains. So you want to really show the before state so that you can later show how you changed it for your existing clients. So that is external. And then you also have the internal state. So for example, what were you missing out on by not having a YouTube channel? So the internal feelings, what was happening, you know, they were like, I feel like if I had a YouTube channel, people would have been reaching out to me. Instead, what I had to do is like, I had to chase after leads, you know, I was not being invited to podcasts, etc. So again, this is the before state. Then we have the bridge, what happens in the middle. So you're gonna be asking, well, how did you find me? What specific problem were you looking to solve? What were you most concerned about before joining? This one is very important because, you know, there's always typically an investment before somebody starts working with you, and they have some concerns. So you want your existing customers who now have gotten amazing results to be reflecting on those main concerns before they joined, and then you want to ask them, what made you take the next step anyways? So again, I'm very much modeling this from Hormozi's framework. And after the bridge, you have the after state. What happened now? And again, externally and internally. So externally, what can we measure? How many leads are you getting from YouTube every week now? How much revenue have you added to your business because of YouTube? What are customers saying about your videos? How are clients finding you now after you've been through the bootcamp? That's external, we can observe that. And again, we have the internal state, meaning, how do you feel about these results? What are you able to do now in your business that you couldn't before you had a YouTube channel? So again, what are those other things that, you know, maybe now internally they have peace of mind. You're like, I just now have a predictable pipeline. I feel very calm. I know exactly how I'm getting customers every single month. And once you get people through this, we have the call to action. So you want to end your testimonial with, what would you tell somebody who is watching this video right now and is unsure about taking the next step? Okay? They're still on a fence. They don't know, they haven't decided yet. What would you tell them? And again, this is where they get to relate to, yeah, I remember my worries at the beginning, but I took the leap of faith and these are the results, so you should absolutely do the same. And legally, what you also want to ask, you will obviously cut this out from the main testimonial you publish, but whilst you're recording on Riverside, at the end, I do recommend asking, can I use parts of this video in our marketing? Just so you have covered your bases, because you do have to have permission of your customers to use testimonial marketing materials. So again, very simple, the Epiphany Bridge framework, and you get to cover all of this in a 15-minute call. Now, as a bonus for watching this video until the very end, I will also share the exact equipment I use when recording my video testimonials. And all the links I'm about to mention, all the products, are right below this video in the description as well. Now, the one investment I would probably encourage you making when recording testimonials is getting very good audio quality. So the mic I have been using in all my YouTube videos, and just by far for the last 12 months, is this Holyland Lark M2. It's a magnetic pin you can just attach to your outfit. It's teeny tiny. So again, wireless, of course, there's no wires, and the investment is very, very friendly. So it's roughly $120 at the time of this recording. And the reason I love this mic is because I have the combo version, which you can connect with your phone, with your camera, and with your computer. So this actually is the only mic I currently have with me because I have been traveling and I use it for everything. I use it for my calls, I use it on Riverside, I use it in YouTube videos. So again, in terms of a good investment that will serve you well, highly recommend improving the audio quality. Now, depending on what kind of computer you have, you might want to upgrade the video quality as well. And there's two options here. A more affordable option, which is what I used to use, is a 4K webcam. So this is Insta360 Link. Love this camera. Roughly, I would say at the time of this recording, it costs $180 and maybe you might be able to get it on sale. Really, really love it. And I can include in the cards up here a video showing exactly how that camera looks like, the actual video quality. And what I use for my YouTube videos and also for my testimonials, which is a slightly bigger investment, is Sony ZV-1 II. And that camera is roughly $700 and it would make sense if you're planning to really do a lot of YouTube videos, let's say next year, or a lot of video content. Though again, it's more of an investment, so this is a very great starting point and it's gonna serve you really well if you wanna look just great in video calls moving forward as well in 2026. And then the last thing you wanna really consider when filming video testimonials is lighting. The main thing I want you to remember is that you should never, ever have overhead lights on in your videos because it will throw terrible shadows in your face, you'll get panda circles, and it just looks terrible. So ceiling lights, overhead lights are your enemy. Always have these off, and you want to make sure that you have light source falling on your face like so. And the easiest way to do this is by filming in front of a window, which I'm literally doing right now. You're seeing natural light falling on my face. However, if you are by chance recording in a room with 0 windows, or you're recording at nighttime, you will want to invest in a softbox light that can light up the room. So no ring lights. Honestly, ring lights are quite useless, I would say. If you have one, just donate it, give it to grandkids, nephews, nieces, whatever. They don't do anything. So a good softbox light is a good investment if, again, you're planning to do videos. And I can also link another video up here in the cards where I'm comparing different lights that I have used. And the one I have right now is Amaran 60DS Coblet. And I have a big bubble around it, the GVM bubble, which again, I'm gonna put here on the screen. I'm gonna remember which one exactly I have. Now, I actually just moved home, so I have not yet staged the background for my YouTube videos. However, if you are planning to create a YouTube studio at your home or at the office and you're wondering what is the best way to stage your shot and whether you should be buying some bookshelves or plants or lighting in the background, I do have a full training on that up here that I'm gonna link. You might wanna check out as the next video, especially if you're working with a tiny space and you really want to look professional on camera without people knowing that you might be shooting in your living room or even inside of a bedroom. So again, you might want to be checking out this video next. So thank you so much for being here and I'll see you in the next training. Bye.